Summer of 2023, I'm sitting on a park bench in the middle of nowhere and I'm using one of the techniques from this video because right in front of me there's a man talking to me. He's telling me a story. He's my driving teacher. He tells me a story about him building a little accident and that I should remember to drive carefully. But as I'm sitting there, I remember what I've read. I remember what I've learned. And I'm starting to use the exact same technique. And as I'm doing this, I notice that he begins to enjoy the conversation more and more. But the technique I'm using is so easy. It's listening. Just listening and let the other person talk about what he wants. Because most people like talking about the things they are interested in. And he tells me this simple story about him and building a little accident and tells me like, hey bro, always drive carefully, and I remember this story and he enjoys telling it. This was one out of 3 techniques implemented in every single social situation I'm into. Not only increase the amount of respect and status I get in this social environment, but also to make life a little bit more enjoyable. The next technique I implemented is to stop criticizing people, and I'm not telling you this here so you don't criticize my videos. I like constructive critique, but most people don't like it when they're criticized. Do you like it when the teacher comes to you and say, you got the test wrong and you got an F on the test? Like, bro, you don't like that, and nobody else likes that. So when you criticize other people, they feel attacked and offended. This is just so easy psychology. Almost everybody gets wrong. What do parents do when the children do something wrong? Oh, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, and you get how's it called? You get punished for this. When you criticize, the other person is most likely to get hurt. I'm not saying that you need to treat everybody like a pussy, but most people just don't like it, especially in friendly conversations, to get criticized for anything. Or do you like it? Because you probably also don't. Now, here's the exception. Exception you should always make. If you already like the person, if it's like a friend or a family member who's about to make a big mistake, he's like, hey bro, I will invest all the money I have in shit coins. Then you could like say, hey man, I think this is a bad idea and we shouldn't do this. Like a real talk, because then you're already a trustworthy person to him and he will rely on your opinion. What if it's like a stranger, what if it's more like a stranger, someone on the street, I don't know, a teacher of yours, or in general, in most situations, you should avoid criticizing people too much. Now, the question you might ask yourself is, how do I get then people to change their behavior? Now, for the most part, you can't. How many doctors have already told you that you should eat cleaner, that you should avoid sugar? And do you avoid sugar? See, it's very difficult to change someone's behavior. How often have your parents already told you to play less video games or to spend less time on your phone? It's very difficult. Now, the thing is, most people get this completely wrong, bro. It actually doesn't make that much sense, but it just works like that. When you're trying to change someone's behavior, someone's opinion, or someone's way of thinking, the best way to do it, what do you think it is? It's appreciation. It's appreciation. Every single bit of improvement. You should reward every single bit of improvement. It's the same with dogs. When you're trying to teach a dog a trick, it shouldn't be like, hey dog, you did the trick wrong, you get punished for this. No, every time he does the trick slightly better and perform it a little better, and when you say sit, he just sits down halfway. You already reward him. Like here are some what is it called, dog cake treats. You directly reward the dog, like, fine, you did this fine, well done. And he's like, okay, The next time he says sit, I should do this again, so I get the reward again. The same applies to people. When you try to change a human's behavior, for example, it's like you're trying to get a friend to exercise with you, just for example. And he says to you, hey man, I don't know, I already went for a walk today. You could now say, a walk, that's nothing, I exercise for 3 hours every day. You could already be like, hey bro, that's good, well done, that's a huge improvement. He's like, okay. When I want to get the respect of my friend again, I need to do even more of that. So this is just human psychology, just rewarding every single bit of improvement. You know what's interesting? Actually teach tricks to my cat. That's actually funny. And I use the same principle. Every slightest improvement, bro, it takes way longer when you train a cat. Every slight improvement it made on performing the tricks I teach. I directly reward, like, well done. Okay, and the last one was listening. I already mentioned it in the start, but I want to dive a little bit deeper here. Now, listening is very important. Gotta be honest, I'm like more the type of person who interrupts the other person. Like, he tells me a story and I'm like, oh, this is nice. Like, bro, this is stupid. I know I should do it less, and I give my best to it. When I realize that listening actually brings you better conversations, like not only the amount of conversations I had increased, but also the quality. Because when you just sit there and listen to the other person's story, like, okay, sit there, say nothing, and say, okay, what happened next? Just showing interest in the other person, because what is the thing most people are most interested in? Themselves. You're probably not an exception. I'm also not. Bro, I've heard, like, I don't know whether this is true, like 95% of the time people think of themselves. And I gotta be honest, I probably think of myself 98-99%. That's more likely for me, but you get the idea. When you listen to a person, you listen to what's most important to him, and that's himself. That's just egoism. And I actually don't think that this is something bad. I think it's natural. This is just the easiest way to get better at conversations. Like, a person says, like, hey, I had a vacation there once, and you should be like, oh, you were there actually? How was it? And he's like, okay, I was there and there. Then you just listen properly. Maybe like this is actually a skill. Like, nobody talks about this, but listening is actually a skill you can level up. Like, you can just sit there and knock, like, okay, okay, and it's a little bit annoying, but you can level this up. Like, okay, just listening with your body. It's like a skill. It's like being part of the conversation, but being very present and looking the other person in the eye and like, hey, okay. This is also a side thing, but bro, this works so well. This works so well with old people. Bro, the next time you're at your grandma's house and she tells you a story, just try this. Just shutting up and listening, bro. This person has like 70 years of life experience. She would love to pass on to you. Or when you're like, I don't know, on a walk and there's an old guy and he suddenly starts telling you something like, oh, I also went on walks when I was in your age. Like something like this, like, bro, this is just legit. This person tells you this is just legit. Because this person can now express himself and tells you everything. And it's kind of heartwarming. See, like, an old person who probably doesn't have too much social contact, now spending the time and maybe giving you some life advice. Bro, in the gym it's nice. All the old guys there just love talking. Like, bro, there's this one guy, this is a side thing, but he always approaches one girl. I know this sounds weird, but I think he probably had like 1 or 2 daughters who already moved out, and this is the reason why he always approaches the girls there and just tells them stories randomly and just 80% of the time he's there, he's only talking to the people there. He does like, I don't know, 3-5 sets per workout. And the rest of the time he's just, ooh, there was a deer, nice. And the rest of the time he's just talking. And the rest of the time he's just talking. So the actionable step you can now take is, remember those techniques. So don't criticize, praise, appreciate, and listen. Implement all of them. The next time you talk to a person, like the next time you're on a, I don't know, on a party and there's like a person you don't know, just use a few of those techniques and see the magic happen, because they can actually make an immense difference. So before this video is getting any longer, work smarter and harder.